It was the end of one era and the beginning of another, the realization of a dream. On September 23, 1987, the then military president, General Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida, announced the creation of a new state to be known as Akwa Ibom. This signifies the beginning of a people's dream of transformation. Multiple ethnic groups have inhabited the present-day Akwa Ibom State for hundreds of years. What is now Akwa Ibom State was once divided into a number of city-states, including the Ibom Kingdom and Akwampa. In 1884, the latter became part of the All Rivers Protectorate, a British protectorate.
Tungo ko yo mro won ke jo kan bo ke mai fon nka ba ribo ya yem o fon bibio ya o yem fon Akwa Ibom e koro mbukaro mbo ibibio State Union. Ibio State Union akodo nka ka ba ka iniero ekena tongo ribo ya ibibio e momiti e kama tembono yemi itison e ma yemo so ro en wa ti yemo so ro yemo so mo ti to ka ti ndikido ndai ti ka itiero ko do sauro roma me so ro in peace yo bo ma bo lo amo e bo ke independent so adi ko idam na iran ri bon itia ndembono ke ba kirak ako mana abiyam bakara ako mbono mo bo kam body ero e bo ka independent sorry kat 1960 yak o mboni bibio e waida e songaida e bo yak en state ya ayem state kodo mso wo ido fro wo ke se mai son dan kan nam pongpo wo da but ayama bo boko anam de no ye nam pongpo ko Nigeria ya it will be good for Ibom State.
The British gained formal control of the region in the early 1900s before incorporating the protectorate, then known as the Niger Coast Protectorate, into the Southern Nigeria Protectorate, which later amalgamated into British Nigeria. A substantial portion of present-day Akwa Ibom served as a vocal point for political activism through the Ibibio State Union, which eventually led to the formation of the state.
Southeastern state. Ibima can never come. When what you come in, you come me. Eboke Edo Yero. Kakwana here. It state. Okay, I said it to Ambom. Eddie Iboke. Yeah, I know Akwa Ibom. Ibibio State. Ibibio State. The Kenya, my work in a young struggle. Ko ofun ke nyong ti song mboro mo ko mo mboro Ibibio State Union ado e ke ba ka da ten wa chu ma ka mbori ko itien ka ko ko so mai song Ibibio men ke da kan gasna gaset e ke ne jemo song men mboro ke ne fan man ka fa ma banga bet mo wo e ke so ya no bok ari nam no e bok ke mi yam Akwa Ibom State.
The state was named after Akwa Ibom River, one of the main rivers in the region. There are three major tribes, which include Ibibio, Anang, Oron, as well as subgroups such as Eket, Ibno, and Obolos.
We were so lucky to have that state we are clamoring for. That is, it was because of us, Eastern Nigeria, Eastern minority, that the whole nation was partitioned into 12 states for us to have that state. So when we were given that very state, now we did not have they used to call it that time province, Okoja province, Calabar province, and Rivers province. They joined Calabar province with Ogoja province to make this thing, Southeastern states, while Rivers province were given the estate, that is the Jos. Until the time of Babangida and Ikomo administration, that we were lucky to have, though Calabar province, part of Calabar province was carved and joined with the Ogoja province to make Cross River today, still stand as Cross River. We in the upland here, that is Ibibio, Anang, Oron, Obolum, and the rest were carved out to become Akwa Ibom State.
It has a total geographical area of 7,081 kilometers square. The inland city of Uyo is the state capital. Over 5.5 million people reside in Akwa Ibom, and the predominant language is Ibibio. The majority of the population of Akwa Ibom are Christians, and their primary occupation is fishing due to their proximity to rivers. In addition to agriculture, commerce, artisanship, and white-collar work, a significant portion of the state's labor force is employed by a robust public service.
At the time of state creation, I still recall that some of us were in primary school and we carried minor flags, green, white, green of the Nigerian color, and then welcoming at Okonita Primary School the first executive governor Akwa Ibom State, Godwin Abe. Tunde Ugbe has already about him. And therefore, I still recall the joy that was felt in the state at the time on that reference. It is also worthy of mention that the entire state went agog in happiness, in celebration, in thanksgiving to God, as God answered the prayers in that time. And therefore, today, Akwa Ibom State is an adult. A child of 36 is not a kid. He is supposed to live in his house and take care of himself and take decisions where appropriate. From a local government that was regarded as mainland state, Uyo local government at that time, if we have pictures, can never be compared to what we have today. I remember what stood as Ibom Plaza at that time and what we have today. The good road network that never existed at that time. The only road we had at that time was just a back road, a car road, the correct road. None of them was dualized. And today they are now completely reconstructed and made to be dualized, and people drive in their own lane, meaning that is the first phenomenal growth all of us saw in the growing state. And therefore today, Akwa Ibom State can now boast of other facilities that other states are now envying. Let me take, for instance, only but last week, the whole Federation Nigeria emptied in Akwa Ibom to witness the Nations Cup qualifier between the Super Eaglet of Nigeria and Saitome national team. And therefore, these are things that we only heard on radio. It is very certain that Akwa Ibom State leaders and workers are not where they were some years ago. Most importantly, within the last 4 years, There had been a lot of changes from the minimum wage that some states have not been able to pay till today, and then to the payment of other entitlement as it went due.
The cultural similarity unites the peoples, particularly in areas such as attires, dance, melodies, rituals, folklores, beliefs, and mythology.
The drum is stopping. So let us listen.
Akwa Ibom is renowned for its diverse cuisine, including the well-known afang broth, edikaikong, and ekbangkokwo. Almost every aspect of our culture has the potential to provide travelers with fascinating experiences and investment opportunities.
During festive period, our sons and daughters all over the world, great men are coming, men and women, in equal cultural play of other people. We make it more of social celebration. The women are there singing and applauding the men that are always bearing this masquerade. You know what we call it? We talk about Ekpo. Ekpo is the masquerade. So, that is just it. And they normally take it to a popular market like Uruerugu, and we call it Urura. During Urura, the popular market day, it's always fantastic. We have Ekpe society, more of social mobilization. There is nothing behind our Ekpe society. So, several cultural plays, like we have Mbok. Mbok is a local wrestling festival.
Numerous tourist attractions in Akwa Ibom allure tourists and investors to take a look. Ikorabasi is famous for its many tourist attractions, including the Amalgamation House, Slave Bunker, Bridge of No Return, Utaiwa Beach, Senator of the Women War of 1929, and Mary Slessor's Memorial Cane.
Nigeria started in Akwa Ibom. This whole name Nigeria was conceived, birthed, manufactured, just borrow me English, in Ikorabasi, in Akwa Ibom State. Okay, the building where the man and wife, Lord Lugard and his wife Flora Shaw, stayed when Flora Shaw conceived of that name to have to make Northern and Southern Protectorate of Nigeria one entity. That building is still there. That office where Lord Lugard stayed, okay, when he announced the amalgamation of Nigeria, the merger of Northern and Southern Protectorate of Nigeria to become one entity called Nigeria, is still there. You go further down, you talk about the slave history. The bridge of no return is in Ikorabasi. That bridge was, once you cross that bridge, because once you get onto that bridge, halfway through that bridge, there was a dungeon, like a whale where they used to dump human beings. Once they dump you there, and from there you get entering the ship, you are off. That's the end, no return. Okay, you see, human beings were treated like animals, worse than animals. And we're told that, in 1929, there was a certain riot in Aba. Women were killed. But it's false. It's not true. Unfortunately, we're not telling our story. So that event took place in Ikorabasi. The women that were killed, that were maimed, were our great-grandmothers and grandmothers from this neighborhood, Ikorabasi. That memorial is still there. And so, unfortunately, we haven't told our story, so others have jumped on top of it. The reason probably why they said it was an Aba women riot was that, back then, there was an Aba province. Okay, and so Ikorabasi and all this area was probably under Aba province. So the historian just said, it was in Aba. Now we are saying as a people that we must rewrite that story. We must retell that story.
The Slave Masters Lodge and slave warehouses of Okubudi, Monkey Colony, and Rolling Hills are also located in it too.
come here to run just by the Marina Beach, Ibom Hotel. The building standing by the Marina Beach, which is used as a bar today, is the old slave master's house, where the slave masters used to stay to coordinate their slave activities. Further down to your left, beyond the lawn tennis court, there's the old slave boat, where they used to pick our brothers and sisters, our great-grandfathers, okay, in that boat and paddle to the main ship in the ocean. That boat is still there.
Rafia City in Ikot-Ekpene, the first local government in Nigeria. 4 Points by Sheraton in Ikot-Ekpene, the Tropicana Mall, Oron Museum, Bumaikon Hotel, Green River, and the popular Ebuna Beach, among other beaches, are also notable tourist destinations.
Akwa Ibom has the longest shoreline in Nigeria, 129 kilometers. Now people go to Gambia. The shoreline of Ibom is bigger than the shoreline of the entire Gambia as a country. And so Gambia is in the cruise ship tour circuit. So cruise ships stop at Gambia. So how come cruise ships don't come here? So we have that potential to 129 kilometers, and we've never developed. So imagine when we start developing. Now we're in talks, PPP, with private bodies to come develop the entire shoreline. Now, so imagine the employment that will create. Imagine the jobs, imagine the economic value, imagine the revenue that will generate. So we're working on that. So that's from the Atlantic Ocean.
According to the adage, music is spiritual food, and Akwa Ibom has been endowed with renowned musicians who have produced notable compositions.
Akwa Ibom is the only state with 3 functional stadiums, including the notable Gosul Akpabio Stadium, also known as Nest of Champions, the remodeled Eket Township Stadium, and the remodeled Uyo Township Stadium.
Let it be on record that the first goal in the Akwa Ibom Stadium was scored by none other than its visionary, Governor Akwa.
If you count the first 100 highest paid athletes in the last 12 months alone, they made $2.75 billion US dollars. $2.75 billion US dollars. That is more than the annual budget of many countries. This is the challenge I leave for our youth, and particularly the youth of Akwa Ibom State. We have opened the doors of the sports world to you today with this Nest of Champions. I hope you will say like Caleb, Mr. Governor, let us grow up at once and possess, for we are able to overcome it. Though there may be Ronaldos, though there may be Messis, though there may be Mayweathers and the Serenas in the land, Akwa Ibom children are on the way.
This special facility in Uyo Township Stadium completes our quadrangle of facilities built to promote youth and sports development in this country. So today, as we commission these facilities, especially the Olympic-sized stadium, Olympic-sized swimming pool that we are putting in this stadium, do we produce Commonwealth swimmers? Do we produce Olympic swimmers? Because we are from a riverine area. May we excel in all facets of sports. And may we have peace and prosperity in this state. So today we commission this to the glory of God the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Akwa Ibom State recognizes the importance of clean environment to tourism industry. Consequently, it has held the title of Nigeria's cleanest state for 5 consecutive years. The health sector is sprinkled with numerous achievements, such as the Ibom Specialist Hospital, constructed during the administration of Chief Gosul Obot Akpabio, General Hospital Itumbang, with a state-of-the-art isolation center, cottage hospital, and primary health care center to increase accessibility to medical services.
The sector has had the benefit of continuous development since the inception of democracy. And I must say that every governor in Akwa Ibom State has added value to the health sector. And so there has been an incremental improvement in the health sector in Akwa Ibom State. While I do admit that under that premise, we are not yet there where we would like to be, but we are certainly on a march to having an improved and a more robust system. But at the moment, we are providing health care across all the tiers of the health sector, primary, secondary, and even at the tertiary level in the state. And each of these areas are being impacted positively and providing services to the people. You would have noticed that government undertook massive public enlightenment and awareness with regards to COVID and preventive measures. Government took steps to provide brand new isolation centers in the state to be able to care for people with COVID-19. Government undertook massive training of its health staff, training and retraining of its health staff to be able to cope with the pandemic. Additionally, government established its own laboratory. In addition to the ones provided by national, government provided its own laboratories, molecular laboratories.
People from all walks of life are rapidly migrating to the land of promise to engage in a wide range of economic endeavors, transforming it into an economic center.
I'm yet to find a state so lucky in leadership selection, and they were not intentional about it, just by luck. You know, when you look at even from the military, people just posted people here, and that's how they posted Sinkan here. And he did wonders. Where we are seated today was built by him. Imagine the infrastructure, how long it has stood. Now, in terms of elected administration since 1999, you see the person of Obong, architect Obong Victor Atta, excellent visionary. You see the kind of person Chief Gospel Akwa was. He said he came with anger, to change the infrastructural landscape. And he did the best he could. You see the kind of person Mr. Dom Emmanuel is. He was an excellent manager of human and material resources, managed through two recessions. In fact, one was a depression, managed through COVID, brought each of them. Obong Atta started the airport, Chief Akwa completed the airport, Udom Emmanuel complemented on the airport and brought an airline, and you see Pastor Moino is following in that direction. So before you know, you'd also see the addition. So what our state has had, which has not been very available in other states, is the consistent upward trajectory, the continuous, projection of the state in a very strategic manner.
Several governors have driven the Akwa Ibom dream, beginning with Colonel Tunde Ogbahe, who was the state's first governor, to Victor Atta, whom many have called the father of modern-day Akwa Ibom, followed by Chief Gospel Akpabio, also known as Mr. Infrastructure, and then Mr. Integrity, Dom Gabriel Emmanuel, and finally, Governor Umoino, who is in charge of the Golden Era. Colonel Tunde Ogbahe is credited with initiating the master plan for Uyo, the state capital, as well as the establishment of Akwa Ibom Transport Company Limited and Akwa Ibom Municipal Limited, in addition to significant road construction projects. Idongesud Okunkanga was the first native of the state to serve as governor. During his tenure, he built the Sani Abacha Specialist Hospital as the University of Uyo Teaching Hospital, the Women's Development Center, and 2 ring roads named Babangida Avenue and Udo Udoma, as well as a state secretariat for the civil service staff. Obong Victor Atta, affectionately known as the father of modern Akwa Ibom, established the groundwork for what has become one of Nigeria's fastest growing states in terms of resources, economy, and infrastructure, among others. Atta is responsible for the majority of the state's notable landmarks, including Akwa Ibom State University, Independence Power Plant, Ibom Icon Hotel and Golf Resort, and Victor Atta International Airport. His role in the repeal of the onshore-offshore oil dichotomy, which led to 13% increase in the derivation revenue, was a remarkable achievement. The Abak Ikorekbane Road, Uyo Nongodo Road, and Kalabaitu Road was constructed under the administration of Chief Gosul Obot Akpabio. His government is known to have executed more than 2,000 development projects like the new government's house, new Ikorekbane Correctional Facility, building of International Stadium, building 4 flyovers amongst other achievements. This he achieved by utilizing the Inter-Ministerial Direct Labor Agency method, earning him the nickname Mr. Infrastructure.
Had a covenant with God. We also had a covenant with the people. And so we set about trying to ensure that we met the aspirations of the people. Looking back, I feel very excited because first, we have been able to create the infrastructure they have been yearning for years. We didn't have good roads, but today we have started over 300 roads. We have intervened even in federal roads in the state, what we call federal roads, are roads that are meant to be done by the federal government and not by the state. But we had to because our citizens trespass those roads on a daily basis. And the accidents that occurred will not occur to federal staff, but rather to our own citizens. And so we intervene even with federal roads. And we have done over 1,000 kilometers of roads. And of course, we went into the educational arena and then we renovated and rehabilitated over 2,000 schools and built over 2,500 classroom blocks.
There is hardly any facet of Akwa Ibom that has not experienced development. The aviation sector, for example, has experienced tremendous growth under the leadership of Udom Gabriel Emmanuel, who, in addition to his industrialization effort, is responsible for the establishment of Ibom Air.
We're blessed with some awesome array of leaders. We've had relative peace in terms of our transition process, so it's something every Akwa Ibomite should be proud of. We also have progression. It's shown in every facet of our economy, in the, of course, infrastructure, road construction, health and wellness. Every sector has been touched, and of course the aviation space. So it's a very good time to be an Akwa Ibomite. The aviation space actually transits Ibom Air, contrary to what a lot of people might be thinking. I think the first incursion into aviation for the state was the establishment of the Maintain, Repair and Overhaul Facility, the MRO. And afterwards, we had the terminal building, and it just made sense that in the midst of all that, we needed to have an airline. So first was the MRO, second was the terminal building, and then of course we were being serviced by other airline operators before the establishment of Ibom Air in 2019. So it's a product of foresight. First of all, putting maintenance at the front burner before thinking of establishing an airline. And of course, in the last 5 years, 4+ years, we've had the establishment of Ibom Air, and of course, you know the story of Ibom Air. It has caught on to be one of the valuable airlines that we have in the country today.
Pastor Moino seems to be continuing in those steps with his numerous achievements in just 100 days in office.
This October, we are going to select one project by local government in the rural area. I want to make sure that at every point in time, there's a project going on in the local government. So that's what we want to do. So we take this first 31, try to finish it, take another 31, take another 31, while we don't lose sight of what people now call legacy projects. Legacy projects, the ones people will remember you for. But I think if you do the rural one very well, people will know that you came and worked with the rural areas. I believe that the rural communities need us much more. On infrastructure, well, I believe that the challenge before us is to actually maintain the infrastructure that we have already. We needed to see the e-library before we converted it and did a change of use. You will cry and weep. We lack maintenance culture, and that's why we seek to establish an asset management agency in this state, so that we can even have an agency to help us with maintenance of our assets.
Aside from infrastructural development, the land of promise is endowed with notable Akwa Ibomite in various phases of life. For example, footballer Vincent Nyama, Hilda Bassi, the Kukatham Queen, Christy Sienibokwe, Samuel Peter, Philippe Fion, Iniedu, Ememi Song, and even John Oput, the bearer of the Guinness World Record for the longest reading aloud marathon. Akwa Ibom may not be where it's supposed to be, but at the rate of development over the past 36 years, it is undoubtedly headed in the right direction.